What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, and as you can tell, I'm in the new office. Check it out. This is my new workspace. So what I wanted to do today is kind of just do a random casual look at everything going on, including the new setup, my gigantic strategy guide collection, and the game collection, because this seems to be something you guys are always eternally curious about. So let's take a look at everything I have now, kind of the state of the channel, and talk about how the heck I keep beating like 100 games a year. Are you ready? Let's begin. Now, first and foremost, I do want to try and answer a question which I'm sure a bunch of people are going to put in the comment section, which is, where the heck is my ceiling? So this is technically a repurposed garage. I'm sort of outside of a house right now, so you'll notice all the windows in this place are completely boarded up. I have them blacked out, so there's blackout curtains all over the place right now. There's actually a door right here that's nailed shut. The whole point of this area was basically to have a designated working zone. I talk a lot about video games. Certainly people all the time when I run into people at conventions or like just out and about, one of the primary things people ask is, how the heck do you beat so many games? How the heck do you play so many games? How the heck do you make so many videos? To me, part of the secret sauce is this dedicated working space. Inside this room, I'm DreamcastGuy. When I go into the house, I get to be Max. I like the fact that now, this is such a good spot to just sit here, to vibe, to talk about games, and then when it's time to just hang out and relax, that's nice and easy. Now, before we take a look at the piles and piles and piles of shelves of games, real quickly, I want to show you the newest addition to this office, which is actually this mechanical desk. I've always been a big believer in the fact that if you're working from home, it needs to be both of those aspects. It needs to be home and it needs to be work. And so that's why, if you ever saw my old office and older videos and stuff, I tried to take as much as possible from that and convert it to here. So a lot of this stuff did survive the move. I actually moved pretty far outside of Dallas. But now that I'm here, unfortunately, my shelves completely disintegrated. So when I show you the new freaking game collection, that's all new stuff. But the other thing I had to completely redo was my desk. Now, thankfully, a company called FlexiSpot reached out and actually said, hey, we just want to send you a desk. Hopefully it'll be useful. And they sent me this incredibly good setup. Now, the number one thing people say to me all the time is, how can you even physically sit long enough to edit all these videos and play all these games and not, be super out of shape? Well, this is a freaking standing desk. I've always wanted one of these. Look at this. So you just press a button, it automatically goes up. You can program it so it sets up to be whatever height you want. Super easy. The entire thing, I built it in like 30 minutes. It's called the FlexiSpot. This is the 49-inch model. You can customize the color, the size, whatever the heck you need. Super great. I'm going to put the exact name of it. There is going to be a link to it down in the description. My whole thing, though, is that now it definitely makes it a lot easier to, when I'm playing a game, it rocks to just be able to be playing a game or film a video, press a button, and start immediately editing it standing up. It kind of makes it where, I feel much more natural in my work flow now in this new office setup, because now it doesn't feel like I'm just stuck in my chair. I can go with whatever my body is telling me to do. And it is nice that when I do want to be lazy, that bam, instantly it's got these double motors so it can hold up my heavy ass giant HD monitors and stuff. But you can see, here I'm watching some live streams now while I film. I've got all my consoles right here behind it. So I still have the PlayStation 5, the freaking Xbox Series X, the Nintendo Switch right there. Standard setup, everything is nice and clean and neat. But I think it's just a good setup now to make it so that part of the way I'm able to make gaming news videos the second gaming news happens is because I just have this nice, very comfortable workspace that kind of kicks butt. But now, I want to show you something which is definitely all these freaking delicious video games. Let's take a look at the game collection. Okay, so my game collection is gigantic. As you can see, it's shelves and shelves and shelves of PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, PlayStation Vita, PlayStation Portable. I have a lot of everything. Over here we've even got stacks of hundreds of Xbox 360 original Xbox. I don't have that many, but I do have a few Xbox One, Xbox Series X. For me, though, it's kind of a matter of like, when I'm buying games, I feel like there's two separate styles of collectors. There's completionists who just want to get every single game they possibly can. It's just about having stacks and stacks and stacks of cool stuff. For me, I consider myself to be a directed collector. For me, it is about getting those cool experiences, getting a chance to beat games on the original hardware. Now, I have talked a tiny bit about the idea of possibly selling off chunks of my game collection, because as much as I love having Resident Evil 4 on the original disc with the original glorious freaking instruction manuals and stuff, I am sort of just thinking about pawning this off. Some private collectors have at times even contacted me about purchasing parts of this. I just have, right now, I do have a lot of emotional attachment, especially to games like Skies of Arcadia. Now, here you can see I have a lot of very strange things that I feel like a lot of people would not even consider for a game collection. Like, I have a huge set of just Shenmue. I have every version of every Shenmue game. I'm going to zoom in on that like crazy. Right there. Every version of every Shenmue game. So it's Shenmue 1, 2, 3, produced in every territory. Japan, Europe. I've got all the special editions of the re-releases. To me, I feel like the best game collection is something where people can immediately know it is your game collection. You know, it's not just about rare collectibles. To me, it's about the cool stuff that you want to play, that you get to play. But additionally, as I stand up here a bit, let's grab this mic. You can see there is just tons and tons and tons of PlayStation stuff here. I will admit, I've kind of just been stacking up the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 stuff just because it's kind of cool that this stuff, like, I've really been enjoying collecting for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. I do have some stuff like that complete in-box Game Boy for my display this time around. Since the old shelves broke, this time around I wanted to go more for practicality. The original setup I had in my old office was purely based on the bookstore I used to work at. I did 10 years in the book business, and honestly, to me, I just wanted to make everything alphabetical, organized by year, by generation. This time around, I kind of wanted to have a more scattershot. Some people may know the word stochastic. I do like stochasticity, the art of randomness. I have kind of just had big chunks of random cool stuff. That way, eyes closed, I could just grab a 10 out of 10 banger game, whether it is 3DS, Sega CD, Sega Saturn. I just like that I can, like, seriously reach out and grab like the original Grandia release for Sega Saturn. I want my game collection to be like that. It's been, for me, this is a more pleasurable display because my eyes are just drawn to memories. Yes, I do play these games. Yes, I do beat these games. But part of the reason I have thought about selling it off is not just because, honestly, I could use the money. It is partially just because I've always had this personal rule that you should touch every object that matters to you. You should interact with it every couple months. Like, if you care about your bike, you should ride your bike every couple months. If you like your car and you're a car collector, you should be driving them every couple months at least. And I do feel like I've sort of hit a part of my life where there are games here that I'm not touching. There are games here that have just been sitting, that have just been gathering dust, and these are very, very cool collectibles. I kind of want to send them on their way so a different collector can enjoy them. Hopefully somebody else can play them. To me, it is almost this weird, like, gaming karma I'm trying to establish. But something I do touch a surprising amount, and what I would never give up, is definitely my gigantic collection of books and strategy guides. Now let's geek out. Okay, so this is a part of my office that to me is perhaps the most personal, and it is because one of the things I feel like has made my videos stand out is the way I speak. I do know that I have not only a kind of strange voice, some people have told me, but I do have a very verbose vocabulary. The fact that I speak in a unique vernacular while constantly trying to twist turns of phrase, a lot of that comes to my big book collection. I read a lot of books. So the stack of books literally goes taller than I do. There's constantly just different weird comic books. I've got stuff from like Batman comics. I've got all sorts of manga, battle royale. But the main thing I know you guys care about is my gigantic strategy guide collection. Now, I think it's interesting to have all the different eras of strategy guides. So on this side, it's every Final Fantasy ever made. So I've got everything from literally Final Fantasy 1, pristine condition, stuff like Chrono Trigger, pristine condition. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll also get the multiple versions. So you'll see there'll be like Final Fantasy 3 when it was called that, and then Final Fantasy 6. Additionally, though, I have this big soft spot for resource materials. To me, one of the most fascinating things about video games is that they tell us how the sauce is made. To me, when video games were being made initially as children, they were just this magical thing that appeared, and we didn't quite understand the process. Whereas now, I have a gigantic love for the fact that game studios will make an awesome game and then print a book saying, this is how we made it. So I have not just a lot of books, but I also get a lot of tie-in stuff. Let me zoom out here again. One of the things I really like to get is stuff like the Final Fantasy manga. I'm very fascinated by tie-in novels, tie-in comics, additional related stuff that kind of involves the universe, but indirectly. Like, let me just show you some stuff here. Man, here's the Diablo books, the Warcraft books. I've got Dead Space right there. I've got the novelizations of all the dot hacks and stuff like that. To me, it's interesting that, like, truly, video games, more than anything else, video games are the most meta art ever. And what I mean by that is not only is it fun to play them, they are art that can be changed and subjective because your skill level, your ability to interact with it changes the experience and the reflection of the art. But it's interesting to me that art becomes movies, art becomes anime, this art becomes all these other mediums as well, including these books. So to me, while I am a very avid reader of both fiction and nonfiction, I like true crime stories, I like all sorts of different stuff. I actually have some books about economics. To me, the most interesting stuff is still just reading video game books. And partially, the part of the reason I want to sell my game collection is I've been getting super into flashcards. Like, right here, this is an analog pocket. And to me, this is so freaking cool that not only can this little tiny digital device play 8 billion freaking games on it, but I do have a soft spot for the fact that I can physically put this down if I get stuck in Pokemon, if I get stuck in some random RPG. I like that I can pull down an actual physical manual. To me, nothing in the world can compare to physically turning to a page and actually being able to pull it up. To me, this is still no YouTube video, no how-to guide, no IGN walkthrough will ever compare to the experience of physically holding a strategy guide in your hands. Some of these strategy guides have become extremely valuable, especially stuff like my Chrono Trigger, Parasite Eve. A lot of these are very pricey. Let me grab some stuff here. Look at this, man. All of mine are in pristine condition here, as you can see, as I say, as two are stuck together. But a lot of this stuff here, super cool, super big, emotional connection. To me, this is what a game collection should be. This is what a book collection should be. This is what games should be. These are empty boxes. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about this because people have been curious about the new setup. I think this is a sweet new space. I've been getting a lot of work done. I just wanted to talk about this real off the cuff because so many people have been asking about the new workspace and kind of asking about how I'm doing the videos, how I'm doing mentally. Honestly, I'm doing great. I love you guys very much. Thank you for watching the video, for subscribing, and hopefully this is interesting because honestly, I have no idea if people would be into this, but you know, it's a good time to talk about how the bread is made. Hope you're having a great day. Like the video if you want, and please keep dreaming. thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.